Flores. I'm a first grade teacher at Montgomery Elementary.
And did you go to a public or private school yourself?
I went to public schools.
Was it a big school?
Elementary was maybe 300 kids, so it's smaller than this school.
And was it high, middle, or low income?
Low income, majority, low income.
Would you say your school had any particular strengths?
Growing up, it was mostly agriculture-based school, so when it came to science, we were probably stronger. We had a lot of English learners, myself being one of them.
How about weaknesses?
I think our reading was probably on the lower ends, but once I reached middle school, which was 6th to 8th grade for me, we ended up earning a lot of rewards, like the Blue Ribbon schools and California Distinguished Schools, so both national and state awards.
What would you change about public schools if you could, thinking back to your own experience?
Bilingual education, it should be an option for everybody, especially our English learners who come from native Spanish-speaking families. It should definitely be an option.
Would you say this school lacks any important facilities?
We actually have a lot more than other schools do. I have like a microphone, so I don't have to yell out as much, and all students can hear me equally, and no matter where I'm in the room. I mean, we have a lot at this school. Pull-out science, we have technology in forms of Chromebook cards. Other schools don't have that. Our nutrition services is pretty good. We're getting close to serving almost every student if needed. Everything is pretty good here.
So you don't feel like the school can use any additional programs?
No. For now, we have our two-way bilingual. We have our Spanish immersion, which is finishing after our two-way bilingual takes over. And we have our English strand of students.
Do you think funds are going somewhere they aren't needed in public schools?
I do not know anything about that. I handle more of that classroom stuff, so while I have supplies for the kids, it's fine.
So you would say schools get the resources they need to function well?
At this school, yes. In this district, yes.
And do you think everyone is getting the same level of education in public schools?
I have no idea what other schools are like, but I know that a lot of times when we have issues as teachers, our voices get heard, either principal or district-wide.
Do any students have significant advantages over others?
Just because they do come, some of my students come from a more entitled background. They have parents who went to college and who earn more. So they get a lot of services outside of school. So parents can pay for tutoring or anything they need. But they come with something stronger. But as a teacher, it's my job to, if that student's a stronger reader, I pair them up with someone who needs support.
And do you think some have significant disadvantages?
There's lots of kids that need support in terms of counseling. They go through a lot and they don't get the services they really need. So that might be one thing where they need support in.
How do you think that impacts their schooling?
Well, every child has needs, so if you are not having your needs of being fed, having a safe home, and parents who look after you, then it really doesn't benefit you in terms of learning. So if they don't have those needs met first, they really can't think about learning.
How do you think would be the ideal way that schools can address these disadvantages?
Just getting more than one person to be a counselor in the school. I mean, we have a part-time counselor right now. It'd be great to have one that's full-time and then maybe someone who's bilingual.
Okay. Karina, you want to answer yours?
Yeah, what do you think the goals of education are?
It's supposed to be to get everyone this equal access to learning and getting an opportunity to go to a university and becoming professionals.
Do you think schools are achieving those goals?
I mean, it's difficult to say because there's so many changes, so many moving pieces, but I mean, for the most part, I see a lot of families who ask for support get it, and those who don't know those services don't really get support.
And how do you think the U.S. educational system compares to other countries?
I I know we're behind some countries and we are ahead of some countries. We really need to step up when it comes to bilingual education. I think that's where we're really lacking it.
Was that all your questions?
Yeah, those were all of them.
Okay, thank you.
And also in the spring, migrant students tend to come back to Davis. Do you feel that they're able to learn effectively through the Spanish immersion program?
They get a lot of what they need in the Spanish program because if they went to a school in Mexico, for instance, my migrant students are from Mexico,
Yeah.
they're not really struggling when it comes to English because they have their native language that they're using. They do come back and they're a little bit lower than where they should be, but they do pick up the pace pretty quickly, especially if we have parent support. So I'll visit families at the Migrant Center and help them, give them resources, and the kids do improve a lot.
They are able to learn a little bit in the brief time that they are here.
It depends where they are. If they're in the Spanish program, they won't receive as much English until they reach third grade. Once they reach third grade, they'll get more of an English push. We do have pull-out services where kids get designated to ELD, but a lot of their English comes from their peers. So the more time they're with their peers here and using their English, like during science, the more they benefit.
Here I have a question. So, did that have any exam at the end of the semester for the whole one grade? So do they took the exam together or?
So we're moving towards computer-based exams. So in May, we'll be taking, from third grade on, they'll take a computer-based exam, and it's individual students. And it's a whole group at a time taking the test in a classroom. So we have different hours.
How does your experience of education differ to what you see now?
I never had bilingual education growing up. I wish I had. I was in a release model, so basically they just front-loaded a lot of English, took away all the Spanish they could, and then they just let me go on from second grade on into English only. It's proven not to be the best model, but now that I'm in a bilingual school, I'm a bilingual teacher, I really see that, if we give them the academic Spanish and we then support with academic English, they really do benefit more in the long run. When you learn in two languages, you really are expanding the way you think. It's not just language, it's the way you think. A bilingual student might look at a math problem differently and try to solve it in different ways. When a student only knows one language, they might try to one formula and then that's it if they don't figure it out. A lot of the bilingual students, because right now they're trying to figure out how to get through a day with another language, they're really trying to problem solve every single moment they can, and when they grow up, that practice really improves.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, thank you.